I know is this. We got to keep the commandments as Israelites. If we want this kingdom to go down, like, here's the thing. I'm going to come back to, I want you to remind me about slavery's judgment. You remind me about slavery's judgment. I'm going to come back to that. Read.
Grave, temperate, sound in faith.
So we sound in faith because guess what? I can tell you, brother, 100%, that all of the things you see happening to black people in America, all of it is going to be turned upside down.
Right.
You know how we went, give me Isaiah 14 verse 2. You know how that we as a people went into cargo slave ships. Are you familiar with that? That black men actually came here on the bottoms of cargo slave ships, chained and bound to one another. That cannot be disputed. Even the white man will come up here and agree right now because he put it in his history books how dumb he is. He actually kept that in the books. That's how stupid he is. Read.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1.
So I'm going to show you biblical prophecy that's going to tell us that one day the things that happened to the Israelites is going to happen to them. I'm just going to go ahead. Right now I'm here.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
Read it again.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
So the Jacob here is talking about your forefather. Jacob wrestled with an angel, literally, and he became called Israel. The Israelites are the black people you see walking around here that wear their pants sagged, that wear their back to the cap, who got all types of flavor and vibes, but they confused. Those are the Israelites.
Right.
But see, we used to be that. We used to come from those low places, do them dumb things, and we changed because we applied the laws of God.
Right.
So nobody can't fool me up here and tell me that they don't I understand everything you're going through. Everything. Read.
And will yet choose Israel.
And he going to choose the 12 tribes of Israel. The blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans are the Israelites. And there's blood brothers that live in Ghana. You ever heard of the diaspora, the diaspora? A lot of us were scattered in slavery in China. So we got some folks in China that are your people. Read.
And set them in their own land.
Our own land is in northeast Africa. Today it's known as the land of Israel. That's where we were from. So we are from Africa, the northeast part that borders that borders the eastern part of the Mediterranean Sea. That's where we come from. Read.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
Come on.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
I want this verse to show you this is slavery. God is going to redeem us. Watch this. Come on.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
And God's going to take them, meaning the other nations that enslaved us. Did slavery happen to blacks in America? Yes or no? Absolutely. 100%. Read.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord.
Give a brother a job, a nice car, and a college degree. Negro think he got no damn problems. You crazy as hell. I smell a spirit. Read it again.
And possess them in the land of the Lord.
So we're going to possess the ones that took us in the land of the Lord. Read on.
For servants.
Read it again.
For servants.
Come on.
And handmaids.
This is the part I wanted to read. Come on.
And they shall take them captives.
So when God makes everything right again, read, and they what?
And they shall take them captives.
We are going to take them captives. You with me? Come on.
Whose captives they were.
Whose captives were we? Who? Hold up. I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove it to you. My question is, whose captives were we? If I capture you, like I can go in the forest and put a possum in a trap. I could take that possum and I could give it to somebody else. What's happening to the possum in that cage? Like if I take a wild tiger and I put him in a box in a cage. Well, he's not going to turn wild. If I take a wild tiger and I put him in a zoo, he's now what? He's taken into, he's captive. So My question is, who took us? Who took us? Who captivated us? See, listen. I don't listen. I do it for you. I don't care. Listen to me. I'm not afraid for you. Okay, that's what, but listen. Because if I say to you, hey, what? Hey, brother, what is that material? Am I supposed to? It's a brick. No! That's a brick. The white man took us into slavery, and he gonna pay according to God. I'm screaming that because that's the truth. Why should I be ashamed to speak truth? The white man will agree with us. He come up here right now. But I don't care about him because he don't give a damn about you or me either.
Right.
You got to realize that. Read, come on.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
We are going to rule over our oppressors. Is that happening now? Not yet. Not yet, but I'm going to show you. Hold up. Now, read on.
And it shall come to pass.
Stop. Drop that, Deuteronomy 28:68. This is how we know that the Bible, my brother, is 100% a true book. Myself, this is what I used to do. I'm going to tell you how stupid I used to be. There was a time back, 27 years ago, I had a car, a Honda, right? The stereo in my car was worth twice as much as my car. That's being a nigga. I had a stereo that shook my car apart. My car was worth $800. My stereo worth 4 G's. That's a nigga. I had to stop being like that. I would deal with multiple women because the brothers around me taught me, these dumb, stupid brothers around me taught me, yo, you can have as many women as you want. That's a weak man that talk that garbage. I used to be one of them weak, soft-ass men. And I have no fear. You want to know why? Because I came from a life, I could talk about it. Just like if I used to be a doctor and now I'm a dentist, I can't talk. I remember when I was a doctor, I used to be just like these cats. But no more. So you got nothing to say to me. But we got to change. Watch this, read on.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
We're going to let God tell us. This is why I believe this book so much. I used to ask people a question. I used to say, listen, why would God allow our people, blacks, Hispanics, to always be at the bottom no matter how nice we are to people, no matter what we do? Why do we keep getting SHIT on? Okay. Go ahead.
The greatest gift that God given everybody is choice. So
okay,
some people choose to be messed up.
I agree with you. I agree with that. But now, and if they choose, hold on. Right. But here's the thing. But now that we know better, we got to do better. So, for example, right? So if you know it's wrong to break wedlock, and you actually do that, the hell with you, judgment's coming. You're a homemonger. So you got that. But watch this. I want to show everybody out here, not just you, that God used our enemies to completely destroy us. Then once I knew that he used my own book to oppress me and that I'm the real person of the book, I now begin to say, well, if that's true, what does that book tell me I got to do? This book says I got to marry my woman. I'm going to marry my woman. This book says no more tattoos.
Shut the fuck up!
There you go. I ain't got to say nothing. Because the white man is the damn devil the Bible speaks of. Ray, come on.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 68.
You see, white people have what they call preeminence. He will never stop his bite and run his mouth because he's scared of us. That's why they had to have the whole armies come in when, you ever see the movie? I ain't going to go there. Read on, come on. I'm not going to let him take me off topic. Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Now, his forefathers are the ones that are responsible for us going into captivity. But the thing is, we can't really blame him because God allowed his people to do that because of our choices, like you said. Watch this. Hold on. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Now listen good. Listen good.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
So we did not see the land of Northeast Africa known as Israel. That's why we live in Brazil. Costa Rica, Central America, New Orleans, Chicago. We live in all these places because we've been scattered through slavery. Read, come on.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
And you are going to be, you see how demons come around you? A demon, give it to the sister. Yes, sister. Okay. You see how a demon will come around you quick, right? Watch this, read.
For bond men and bond women.
Come on.
And no man shall buy you.
Now hold up, read it again.
Thou shalt be seen no more again.
He on drugs.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies.
And there you, read it again from the top.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So the Israelites, the first time, I know you have a little bit of biblical history. The first time that the 12 tribes of Israel went into slavery, it was under the nation of Egypt. You recall the movie The 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston. It comes on every year. So that was the first Exodus, which is the second book of the Holy Bible. It's also called the Torah, right? In that Old Testament, the second book, the Israelites were Exodus, meaning we were delivered out of slavery. The Exodus, very good. Now watch this, read it again.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee,
come on.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
This is the confusion of what they call the Pan-Africanism movement. Because everybody like Marcus Garvey started a movement trying to get black people to go back to Africa. But the problem with black people going back to Africa, well, which one of the dozens of African people do you come from? Name 10 African countries. Ivory Coast, Guinea, Chad, Nigeria. So where do we go when we get there?
Right.
Because that's not our homeland. We came from a specific part of Africa because we're a specific people. Read it again.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
So, read it again from the top.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
We went back into slavery again, this time with what?
With ships.
So now all we have to do is take our eyes, God gave us eyes, and we look at the bottom of these ships. And a real man begins to get very angry. Now, this really did happen. And this should make you very upset. Because guess what? Whether you want to admit it or not, our great-great-great-great-great-grandfathers and mothers were on the bottom of the ships. And they were throwing up on each other. Women had babies that once they were born, they would throw them overboard. When you diarrheaed in the bottom of a slave ship, you think the white man came around and said, hey, cleanup crew's here, guys. We're going to clean you up. Man, we duded all over each other. And guess how long the ship's ride was? It wasn't like when you take a boat to go across Lake Pontchartrain. We was on them boats for months. A lot of us died on the bottom of the ships.
Right.
So read it again. This is why I believe this book. And this is why nobody can't change my mind about this book. And this is why we're here to teach y'all about this book. Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
You see that? We went back into slavery in ships. Look at the book, 1619. We were sold into slavery in 1865. They freed us in a thing called the Emancipation Proclamation. Slavery continued in South America into the early 1900s. There was a thing put in place called black codes. You ever heard of a black code? Black codes was like, for example, if we were to go back, say, 100 years ago, if I'm gonna choose, the four of us were to walk down the street and one of us were to laugh, we all could be punished. So they had things called laughing barrels. So if you walked into a town and you stayed on your side of the street, if you wanted to laugh and white people was around, you had to stick your head in a barrel and laugh in a barrel. You ever heard of that? That's called a black code. It was illegal for 3 black men after sunset to be talking in a public place. That's after slavery. And these are facts I'm telling you. In 1965, before that time, there was a colored water fountain and there was a white water fountain. What do you think the conditions of the colored water fountain was? It had all type of, it was not taken care of. The Caucasian fountains were good. When you went to the movie theaters, you sat at the top and in the back and you had to go into the back door. All of these things tell us who we are. Prove to us about this book. Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
We went back into slavery again with cargo slave ships. Read.
by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
And just like Moses said it was going to happen, it happened that way.
Right.
And there's nothing that we could do to change it. And what you said is heavy. You said, your brother, we all have a choice that we can make. And I agree with you. So one thing, you got, this is the mind of a nigga. A nigga will do this. You can say, listen, niggas respect fear and power. That's what niggas respect. You know what had to take me? I respect the power of God. I fear and respect his power. He allowed the white man to destroy us and to infiltrate us and to bring us down to slavery. So that power, how do I get right with that God?
Right.
Well, number one, he gives me laws. Don't do this. Don't do that. Well, yes, Father, I'm going to do that. I will do that, Father. And once you start doing this, Psalms 111 verse 10, hold that. Once you start doing and applying the commandments, you become wise. You start to know how to move amongst the same enemies that you work for, that you are around, that you got to go to the stores and pay for at the stores. Your anger begins to become compartmentalized. Now you know that's my enemy right there. I'm going to be smarter and wiser than him. The worst thing that the black man could do is show his anger in certain times. At your job, when they try to box you in, you got to be cool. You got to just don't get angry at all. I used to get angry as hell. Never show your enemies your anger. But you got to know your enemy. You got black men right now that actually will marry their enemy. You ever see that movie called Sleeping with the Enemy? They should have started a black man married a white woman. That's a dumb as hell. I ain't apologizing for what the hell I just said.
Right.
Read.
Psalms 111 and verse 10.
Come on.
The fear of the Lord.
Stop. The fear of God. Negroes respect fear and power. The power allowed us to go into slavery, to suffer black codes, to suffer water fountain. Remember, we got sprayed down the street. I know a brother that's 70 years old, grew up in New Orleans. He used to just try to walk home sometimes, and white boys would come out with rocks and just throw rocks at them for no reason. This is right here in New Orleans, right here. And I said, well, why did they do that? He says, we was black caught at the wrong part of town at the wrong time. This used to happen right here in this city, and now we think they love us? Are you crazy? No, sir. No, sir. Read.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Watch this.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
So if we want a good understanding of how to survive in a place where we were brought and made slaves, guess what we got to do? Fear God. So guess what I did? Okay, so how do I get my wisdom? You ever seen a drug dealer? He know every part of the business. He got wisdom when it comes to drug dealing. But he could become a chemist. He could become a philanthropist. He could become a doctor. He's just choosing the wrong path. So now brothers who came from a way where we chose, now in God's wisdom, we going to move the same way. Okay, how do I strike them? The Lord says for me to marry my wife. Well, I don't care. I don't give a damn about these other niggas right here. I'm marrying my woman. I ain't going outside of that. Okay, what is the Lord? How am I supposed to eat? Does God teaches me how to eat? I'm going to only eat that. Does God teach me how to deal with my brother? Okay, if I get mad at my brother, okay, I'm going to follow that. When you move like that, brother, you become wise. And it's protection from your enemies. It's protection from brothers who will come against you. The wisdom comes from applying what God says. And we are afraid of him because he put us in slavery. He allowed us to go in slavery because we didn't listen.
Right.
Read it again.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Come on.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
Now I'm going to bring some commandments out. Now that I have your attention, I'm going to show you. For example, I always use this example because it's very visual. You're 33, so you do remember about 15, 20 years, there was a famous young basketball, Allen Iverson. You remember him, right? When he first came to the league, he changed almost everything about the NBA. You remember that? One of the things that he did, he made what become popular for black men in sports? What? No, not braids. No, some cats in the 60s had braids. But what the cats in the 60s didn't have, he brought this to the NBA. I'm gonna give you one clue. Okay, now, so, and he made it glorified. You got brothers now get tattoos all the way up the side of their neck and their face. They never did that in the 60s, 50s. Nobody did that. Iverson, we praise him. That was wrong of him. Give me the law. God teaches us how to protect our bodies. One of the laws that black men break today, and you have to, does that mean if you got a tattoo that you can never change? Of course you can change. Nigga, just stop. I ain't saying you. Don't do it no more. Read it again.
Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 28.
Now, I want Leviticus, yes, read that.
Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead.
Read it again.
Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead.
All tattoos in every society always started with honoring the dead. There's an acronym, RIP, or in loving memory of you, Mom, and they put a date. They put a picture of the mother or the father because you think you're honoring the dead. Read it again.
Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead.
Cuttings in your flesh in order to get a tattoo, because a tattoo, is it temporary or is it permanent? Okay, now, you can get a peel-on, little kids get peel-on tattoos. Their mother can wash it off with Dawn dish detergent. Read it again.
Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead.
So the first step of the process of a tattoo, you got to cut yourself. That's why in jail they got all these sloppy tattoos, because they do it with whatever they got in the cell. But a professional uses a needle. And the needle does what? Because every time they have to take a cotton swab and wipe out the blood. Read it again.
Nor print any marks upon you.
Read it from the top.
Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead.
So we as Israelites, we could not get any more tattoos. Now, I did not learn that till I was 32 years old. No one ever taught me that. And I grew up in a damn Christian church with the Bible in the doggone pew. We just read the Bible. Read it again.
You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead.
So no more tattoos, brother. Read on.
Nor print any marks upon you.
So you got three, I'm not saying you. Brother got 3-4 tattoos. Yo, it is what it is. But guess what? Repentance is acknowledging what I did was wrong. I didn't know that God told me to do that. I'm going to stop and I ain't going to do it no more. That's what a real brother will do.
Right.
Even if you had a history of cheating on women, that doesn't mean you can't change. It means you've got to stop and apply the laws. And that's what a real strong man would do. A weak man finds an excuse according to his own will. Read on.
I am the Lord.
Now stop. I'm going to go over a couple more basic sins that a lot of you don't know. Get me out, and I got it. You know why? This here, I'm not from the New York area originally. This area here is one of the greatest places to get food in all the country. You know, New Orleans is known for its cuisine. Would you agree with that? When people come to New Orleans, they party and they like to eat. Can I say that? Watch this. Leviticus chapter 11.
Leviticus 11 and verse 9.
I want the end.
These shall ye eat of all.
Oh, give me the. So, my question to all of us that say we are Christians who believe the Bible. How do we explain this? Because there are laws on how to deal with your skin. We just read it. There are laws on what you're supposed to eat as so-called black men. And we're going to go into the same Bible y'all have, but we was never taught right. We're going to read this. Come on.
Leviticus 11 and 46.
I'm going to speed it up. I'm not going to drag it out. Read.
This is the law of the beast.
Stop. Read again.
This is the law of the beast.
There are laws. A beast is a 4-footed animal. Read it again.
This is the law of the beast.
This is the law of the beast. Is this talking about how you raise them? No, he's going to tell you what he's talking about. Read.
And of the fowl.
What is a fowl? A fowl are winged birds, like a pigeon is a fowl. A turkey, a chicken is a fowl. F-O-W. Not like playing basketball and I foul you. A fowl, F-O-W-L. Read.
And of every living creature that moveth in the waters.
3 categories of food. 1 is the 4-footed beast. 2 is the fowl. And 3, read 3 again.
And of every living creature that moveth in the waters.
Every living creature that moves in the waters, whether it be a bayou, creek, river, lake, ocean, Caribbean Sea, everything that moves, God got a law. Read.
And of every creature that creepeth upon the earth.
And anything that creeps, that means your insects as well. Read on.
To make a difference between.
Stop. You got to read the word. Read it again.
To make a difference.
God said out of them categories, there's a difference on what, brother?
Between the unclean.
Between some animals that are unclean, read.
And the clean.
And some animals are clean. What does that mean? I pet them, and if I pet a goat, I'm going to get physical dirt in my hand? No. We're reading. Now watch the next part.
And between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten.
What you have not learned in the Christian church, there are categories of laws on what we can and cannot eat, and that's where your churches have failed you. Now, can I give you some examples? I sure can. Give me swine.
Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 7. And the swine.
Stop. You're reading too fast. Read it again.
And the swine.
What is the swine? Pig? Let's name some. You got a wild boar. You've got a domesticated pig. You got feral hogs. Any type of swine. Read it again.
And the swine.
Come on.
Though he divide the hoof.
A pig does have a divided hoof, meaning its foot part. Read on.
And be cloven footed.
And it's got a cloven foot, meaning if a pig were to run down the street, it would gallop. It don't got a soft like a dog. It got a hard hoof. Read on.
Yet he cheweth not the cud.
But God tells you, this animal does not chew the cud. Meaning, a pig, you ever see that movie Rambo 3? It's either Rambo 3 or Rambo 4. There's a part in the movie when they got the dude strung up and they bleed him out. The wild pigs come and ate him all the way up to his waistline. A pig will eat anything.
Right.
Anything. Read it again.
Yet he cheweth not the cud.
So chewing the cud is a process like a cow chews the cud. A goat chews the cud. They regurgitate that food in their stomach. Now, read it again.
And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed.
Listen good.
Yet he cheweth not the cud.
Now, I'm going to jump to this verse because it said every living creature that moves in the waters. In New Orleans, we are surrounded by bayous, rivers, swamps, creeks, lakes, streams, and even an ocean, which is called the Caribbean Sea, or the, what do they call it around here? The Gulf of Caribbean, right? Is that what it's called? Gulf of Mexico, thank you, right? So now, God got 2 laws, so we know exactly every body of water I just mentioned, how we supposed to move with wisdom. Let's see if you, I think you're going to get it. Read.
Leviticus 11 and 9.
Listen good.
These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
Read it again.
These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
Now this is Moses speaking to the 12 tribes of Israel. And I'm speaking right now to the 12 tribes of Israel. It's just that we forgot who we are. We called ourselves black people. Man, you ain't been a black in your damn life. You ain't never been black one day in your damn life. You are brown and you are confused. And they've called you African American and black American, and that's a damn lie. You are part of the Israelites. And you were sold in slavery because our forefathers broke the commandments of the Lord. Read.
Whatsoever had fins and scales.
Remember the context. What we eat out of all of, read it from the top.
These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
So everything that moves in the waters, this is what God's teaching us now. He's going to make it so crystal clear, nobody out here can gainsay it. That's why I love the Bible. Read.
Whatsoever had fins and scales.
See, you know one thing about Israel and black people? We need to hear things over and over again. Read it again.
Whatsoever had fins and scales.
Now read it from the top again. That ain't good enough for them. Read it again.
These shall ye eat of all that are in the water.
So every water that you can name that me and you can build with, creeks, bayous, rivers, lakes, oceans, whatever, right? A fish tank. You can build your own fish tank, right? Read it again.
These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
All those waters. Read on.
Whatsoever.
Read that word again.
Whatsoever.
Whatsoever has what?
Had fins and scales.
Read it again.
Whatsoever had fins and scales.
And scales.
In the waters.
He gave us 2 requirements. From there, I can use my wisdom and I know everything I can eat. Let me give you, let's see if you've been paying attention. Can I eat salmon? Let's think about it. Does it have fins? Does it have scales? Yes, it does. Of course you can. A salmon has scales on it and it has fins. Let me ask you another one. Can we eat oysters then? It doesn't have fins. What about a sea snake? What about a sea snake? They have scales, but do snakes have fins? No. Can I eat this is going to hurt some of you brothers. Can I eat a crawfish? So, if we know that, it's the shell. It's called the crustacean, which means it's an exoskeleton, which is a soft exterior skeleton. So read it again.
These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
Everything in the waters, we got 2 laws that define how wise we are to eat. Read on.
Whatsoever had fins.
Stop! The first requirement, it has to have fins. Read.
And scales.
And the second requirement is scales. So now, if you come up with anything outside of that, that means, or if I do that, that means I'm being the damn devil. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to eat in the waters salmon. I'll eat tilapia. I'll eat redfish. I could eat drum. I could eat maui. Any fish that has fins and scales, that's the only thing that we can eat as Israelites. Do you accept that?
I have shellfish allergies.
Okay. Beautiful.
I can eat all the rest of the stuff.
Yes, well, beautiful, but you don't have to eat shellfish because God told you. So thank the Lord for that allergy. All praises. All praise to the Lord. Read it again. Cat. Oh, yes, my brother. So when I first moved down here, right, you realize that in Mississippi, you can't get no other fish except catfish at the store. Do you realize that? So check this out. Let's use the same law. Let's use the same law with the catfish. Does a catfish have fins? You can Google it. The answer is yes. But does a catfish have scales? There's a thing called noodling. You ever heard of noodling? White people do that, and it's some crazy black people too. They stick their whole arm as bait, and they go like this, and they pull up a catfish. A catfish is a smooth-skinned and has no scales. It is a bottom feeder, and God said don't eat it. But you know what? Black men who were raised in black lying churches will tell their congregants you can eat whatever you want because Jesus cleansed it. When we're reading the laws, read the law again.
These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever had fins and scales in the waters,
Come on.
in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
So guess what? I'm not going to argue with God. Dumb niggas argue with God. I'm going to eat where God said it.
black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.